Welcome, everyone. We are live. Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Or as we say in Barbados, Tuesday. It is Tuesday. The four W's. Persist. Why? When? What? And where? Why does one persist? You see, we think that persistence is somehow woo-woo. We think persistence perhaps is something that, something that's cool and something to attain to, something to strive towards. But persistence is what we do naturally. We persist naturally. We persist naturally. Good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't matter. We persist, right? We persistently do something in our lives. And if you look at your life, you will see what you persistently do. But for some reason, when we want to do it deliberately, we feel like, oh my God, I can't do that. I don't have the strength to do that. I'm like, you don't have to have strength to be persistent. You just have to be willing. Mm? Just be willing to persist in what you choose to persist in. You see, we think that we don't make choices. Of course, we make choices. We always make choices. All I'm showing you is where you make them. We make choices every single moment of the day. And so, persisting, especially when we persist all the time, we persist all the time. Think about water, if you will. When we go driving out to Banff, yeah, there's this stream of water that runs down the mountain face. And when you're driving, you can see it because it just looks like a line of white in the rock. But as you approach it, the water has etched this groove into the rock, into the mountain face. That is what persistence is. Persistence personified is water running down the mountainside's face. It doesn't stop. It doesn't necessarily speed up or slow down. It depends on the snow that's melted above it. But it is always there. It always shows up. And it just runs. Now, water doesn't resist gravity. What do I mean? It doesn't flow uphill. It always seeks the depths. So when you and I persist, be like water, constantly think about what the water has done. It's just run and run and run and run until it has etched a groove in the rock. Do you think it was by force that it etched the groove in the rock? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not by force at all. By persistence, meaning it just runs there every day. Same spot, every day, every day, every day. So it does the same thing the same way every time. Sounds familiar, like a habit. See, you and I always persist. Our habits show us our level of persistence. Not only our level, but our intensity of persistence. So when you hear persistence, don't think that that's something far-fetched and difficult to do. Imitate water. Show up every day. And you run in the same place every day. You do the same thing every day. Because like the water, you are literally forming a groove called a neurological pathway. And what happens with water when you put it in the same place? It'll run there. It'll run right down that mountainside. And the rock. Now, does the rock resist? The rock isn't resisting and pushing the water back. The rock complies. Well, clearly, because it doesn't crumble. Not yet. Give it time. And as the water persistently runs, it will erode away that rock. Oh, somebody's awake and ready for the day, isn't he? Persistence. He knows all about persistence. Oh, he sure does. Tee. Um, so when you persist, think of water. And then you are the water, but you are also the rock. How are you the rock? You surrender. You just let the thing that you are doing, let the thing that you are rehearsing, let it happen. Because you've already chosen it, right? So this is step 2. What? Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That's the water. Step 2 is the water. You see how it works? We persist every day. We persist when? All the time. Where does one persist? Mentally. Where else do you think you persist? If you do not form the neurological pathway mentally, how are you going to do it? Physically. As within, so without. You form that inner pathway through your what? Persistent repetition of what? Experiencing in imagination what you would experience in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That's what you're doing. That's where we persist. We persist mentally. You persist. Now you see the mental mood, the mental attitude that you persist in is the beginning of the waterfall. Your life is the mountainside. And as you begin to deliberately persist in experiencing in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, well then, you'll begin to set that groove. Now here's the thing, the intensity of the water as it comes down the mountainside's face will determine how quickly it sets a groove and how big of an impact it forms in the rock. So you see, your level of intensity will determine how quickly you experience something in the world. Intensity, Angela? Well, what does you mean? The best way to explain it is how passionate you are about it. If you're fired up, you're lit up, you're just, ooh, excited because you are eager and you know that, wait a minute, I set this in motion. This is me doing it. Now you see, one always remembers that the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. And without the spirit inside the body cannot perform. So where then should this reverence go, this gratitude? When you recognize that it is not we who have made ourselves. You recognize what is within and the power that is within. And then you say, thank you. And you begin to realize that you are the power. You're the, as Neville Goddard would say, the operant power. But that operant power is not something that is willy-nilly. It is the all within all. The all within all of us. There's only one thing within each and every one of us. And what do? We call it God. For lack of a better phrase or a word, that's what we call it. But it is the all. You can't just, it is you because you're the one physically doing it. But it is also you because the all is within you. And you did not earn it. You can't do anything to lose it. You didn't earn it. It was freely given. It was freely given. And that's why one should practice gratitude. When you recognize that the spirit within you has been freely given, you don't take it for granted anymore. And you begin to recognize, wait a minute, I am more than the sum of my parts. Yes, because something tremendously beautiful was given to me, and I want to give it back and say thank you. And how does one give it back and give, quote unquote, thanks and praise? By living their best lives, not cowering from fear, even though one is afraid. But that's why we recognize where we persist. We persist mentally. And as we persist mentally, we reenact it physically. So we got the when and the where. We persist all the time. Where? In our mind's eye, in our imagination. Why? Because it is our nature to be persistent. In Barbados, we say, don't wish for nobody what you won't want for yourself. Meaning, don't wish for anyone what you would not like to experience for yourself. Yes? Why? And that's exactly the answer. The all persists. Every time you hear a scientist say the universe is always growing, that is persistence. It doesn't stop. It always expands. It always grows. Because that is persistence. The all lives persistently. So the all does not come along and say, listen, George, I need you to be persistent. I'm going to sit over here and have these bonbons. No. It does not ask you to do something that it does not do itself. So today, if you're being asked to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that's just fancy talk. For what? Because you have to make it make sense to people. When you persist, you are like water. You show up and you do the same thing the same way every time. run down the mountainside. Every day, all day. You see, the all is persistent. The all is persistent. It knows what it is. It knows that it exists. And it knows it can become anything that it wants to. And it's constantly moving. It doesn't take a break. That's how you know it is persistent, because it does not take a break. It doesn't stop. It is constantly moving. And it is not moving in an erratic way either. It moves in a deliberate fashion. So it is showing you always what you should be doing, what I should be doing. You know that you are. And now you move in the fashion of what you say you are. And when you change course, it means you've changed your mental mood, your mental attitude. Because the outward expression has changed. Thus, the inward expression must follow. Right? It has to set the pace. Right? As within, so without. So every day the principles show us, quote unquote, the characteristics of God. So when we hear that God is faithful, what is faithfulness? Showing up and doing the same thing the same way every time. Faithfulness, something that is faithful means you can set your clock to it. Oh, of course. Faithfully. You see, we always see the characteristics of God. Again, it has nothing to do with what you believe and what you don't believe. I'm not here to tell you that God is real or not real. You think a spiritual awakening happens because I force it on you? A spiritual awakening emerges from within oneself, because God awakens in every man. Thus, every man will awaken in their own time. Whenever they're ready, they'll awaken. You can't force an awakening. Some of you who got kids and got to get them ready for school, you know what I'm talking about. Forcing an awakening. These kids, they don't want to get up. But we don't force, right? So this quote unquote, and people say, well, I want a spiritual awakening. I want to know my purpose. You can't force it. It will show up. You just walk in the knowledge that, yes, I will persistently walk in this knowledge because I know. In the words of Brooke Benton, it's just a matter of time, right? It's just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time, which is what? Persistence. You see, we persist. Remember, there's an ebb and a flow, right? Rhythm. And so as we persist, we move rhythmically, we build. And when you build and you build and you build until you hit the zenith, the very top, what happens? When you hit the very top, it is absolutely amazing. But it doesn't stop there. It slowly recedes and then it builds again. This is the principle of polarity. You see why polarity flows into rhythm. Hmm. So today, my beautiful friends, I shan't keep you. But I will say to you, we persist. When? All the time. Where? In our mind's eye. What do we persist in? The thing that implies that you are the man or the woman you want to be. If you say, oh, I'd like to become dot, dot, dot. You see, there's a passion and a fire and a desire within you. That even though that thing that you want to become takes 3 years or 4 years, you go to school. And some days you're more tired than others, but you go to school nonetheless. And you work it out and you do it and you do it and you do it. Because why? What is driving you? The love of becoming what it is you set out to become is what drives us. We would want to call it purpose. So you see, my beautiful friends, we persist all the time in our mind's eye. When, where, what? In what we want to experience in the world. Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That is what we persist in. Why? Because we want to bring about a change in our lives. That's it. That is it, my beautiful friends. So you see, one does not give up. Especially when you're looking at your life and you say, oh, I just really need something to give, man. I need a break. Shoot. Especially when you're right there. You feel the intensity of that desire. Do you feel the intensity of your desire to change? When you feel it, that's when you start to do those things that facilitate your change. When you feel your change, you feel the desire and the passion for your change. Listen, you could feel the frustration of your change because we sometimes will feel frustrated with where we are. That's great. Feel it because the frustration adds a level of intensity. Why? Because you don't want to stay the same. So if you look at the level of intensity by which you say, oh, I cannot do this anymore. See that level of intensity? You use it to flip your minds away. You use it to flip from experiencing in imagination what you're presently doing. You flip it from there. And what are you doing? Well, you're complaining right now about how something's not working out. So you got to flip that. And what do you flip it to? To what you want to experience in reality. If you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, you flip it to that. Because that is the thing that you are persistently now going to do, but deliberately persistent. And why is that? Because you know that what you persist in, some people say what you persist in, you perfect. I tend to see it slightly different. What you persist in, you become. That's what I say. What you persist in, you become. So today, what are you persisting in? You want to keep doing it? It's a simple yes or no. And if you say yes, well then, carry on. But if you say no, I don't want to do that anymore. Oh, great. That's a great place to be. And then you say, okay, I don't want to do that. So I want to do what? This instead. And what is this? Well, that's for you to decide. And when you see what this is, where did you see it? In your mind's eye. Don't get in there and talk about, well, maybe. I don't know if that's possible. That might just be a pipe dream. Don't do that. Oh, that may be challenging. Sure, to not do it. But you see, when one is learning and testing themselves to see what they're capable of, there's a level of curiosity that will make you say to yourself, I don't know if I quite believe it yet, but I do know I've been practicing this one thing and I'm real good at it. I do know that practicing makes me become the thing. So let me see. What do I want to practice instead? And you begin to do what? Experience or rehearse or practice what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. What's that one thing you'd be doing that implies? What is it? Would you be dancing? Would you be hooting and hollering? What would you be doing? Would you be calling up your bestie and talking about, OMG, girl, you would not believe what just happened? What would you be doing? What would you be doing? It is very specific to you because it's what would feel natural to you if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. If you were a shoe shine, you'd be seeing your reflection in the shoes that you polish. Would you not? You'd see yourself and you would feel the rag in your hand as you run it over the shoes because that's what you would be doing. If you had a business, what would you be doing inside that business? That would tell you, oh my God, I own this business. What? What is that? I am an entrepreneur. Ow. What would you be doing? See? Then that is what you rehearse. You got to do it in your mind's eye. You don't watch it, you do it because you would be doing it out there. Listen, the principle of correspondence tells us as within, so without. So if you're watching the thing inside, you have to watch it on the outside. So the next time you say, oh my God, somebody totally got my manifestation, because you were busy watching it on the inside. So you got to watch it on the outside because you must always match. But if you're doing it on the inside, you're going to have to do it on the outside. Remember, as within, so without. So don't be, listen, if you are pretending inside, you're going to pretend outside. What you do within is what you will be doing on the outside. That's why you choose what you want to do. Do. Because when you're doing it, it means you are it. And what we persistently do, we become. So that's why you don't watch it. You do it. Look, I'd be kneading dough all day long. Kneading and shaping and baking and scoring. Oh, yes, I would be if I wanted to be a baker. That's what I'd be doing. Taking orders. How many loaves for you today, Sue? Okay, I'll drop them off tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So you'd hear the conversation in your mind's eye because you'd be the one listening to the conversation as you speak it. You'd be the one, you'd feel the pencil in your hand. And if you couldn't feel the pencil in your hand, because some of us, we say we cannot, because that's not natural for you. That's why you can't feel it. It's not natural for you. You'd be doing something else. Me, I'd be talking. I wonder how you know I'd be talking. But you know what? I digress. I'd be talking. So that's what I would be doing. I'd be talking to somebody and telling them. And so that is what I do in my mind's eye. Because as I do it in my mind's eye, I become it. And as you are doing step 2, rehearsing or experiencing in imagination what you would be doing if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, hello, it will make you feel a particular way. And when you feel the way you feel, as Michelle Montana would tell you, a feeling, ow. He said, a feeling, huh? Trinidadians. Talk about bitches, talk like they're singing. Nah, Trinidadians talk like they're singing, but I digress. You'll begin to feel a feeling. And that feeling will either confirm, well, it will only confirm what you have inside. So if the feeling says, yes, girl, we doing it, yes, if that's the feeling, well, then you know you're on the right track because it matches. But if the feeling is, oh, I don't know, man, I'm scared, I don't think this is going to work. Oh, what's within? Doubt is inside. And as within, so without. That's why it is the knowing of what you're doing, not the believing, the knowing. You know that when you practice, you become what you practice. You know this. You know it with every fiber of your being. You know that what you practice, you become. Of course you know. You don't become a court stenographer by not knowing how to type and having rehearsed. So you know that you become what you practice. You know it. The Kung Fu master, the Gordon Ramsays and the Emeril Lagasse's of the world, the chefs, you know, the Simone Biles, the Sha'Carri Richardsons of the world, the Usain Bolts, they practiced and did what? Became what they practiced. So you know this is cold, hard fact. It's not something you've got to hope for or believe in. It is what you need to know because you know it is true. The evidence is all around you. So then the question becomes, what do I want to become? Then let me practice. Because I know when I practice what I say I want to become, I don't have a choice but to become it. So you practice it. You practice it in your mind's eye. You do it in there. Why are you doing it in there? Because like the water running down the face of the mountain, you're going to set a groove. And the groove that you set down within is going to mirror the action, or rather, the action that you do on the outside is the mirror of the pathway you set down inside. So you have to do it inside first. If that means you're giving your speech in the mirror so that you can memorize your words. What are you doing? Imprinting it within so that you can do it on the outside without faltering. I'm telling you this because you're doing it already. But now it is time to do it with your eyes wide open, with the knowledge of what you're doing, so that you can overcome doubt. Eh? Well, indeed, if you know what you know, what you know, you're going to do what you know. You don't have to doubt it. You see? But we want to fight it and struggle against doubt. We want to banish doubt. You banish doubt by applying the knowledge. Look, y'all gonna get me fired up in here this morning. So let me not, because I don't want to keep you. I gotta go. But here's the process as to why we persist. We persist when? All the time. Where do we persist? In our mind's eye. What are we persisting in? The thing we've chosen to become. Why? Because you want to change your life. That is why. And so now that you know what persistence is, the water running down the side of the mountain, be like water, my friend. You know who said it. Oh. You know who said it. Bruce. So be like water. You show up because you know what you want to become. And you rehearse it in your mind's eye every day. And the feeling of intensity will build inside of you, you know. What's that feeling of intensity? It is you recognizing the closer you get to something, the closer you become. You know how you feel when the clock is ticking and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, is it 4:30 yet? And you get this burst of energy at like 4:20. Oh, wait, that's just me? Oh, my bad. Or you know that graduation is quickly approaching. You see how it feels? It pulls you along. The intensity increases the closer you get to the accomplishment. Ow. Anyway, let me get the chime. And as you hear the chime this morning, when do you persist? Where do you persist? What do you persist in? And why? Answer that part. You will have solved the mystery of life. Of course you will have. The all tells you that there aren't any mysteries. As within, so without. How can it be a mystery? The all is telling us that there aren't any mysteries, no secrets. Well then, what are you going to persist in? Deliberately. Same way you got in is the same way you get out. Persistence. Hello? Let's get the chime, and you might get chicken again. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. I know I didn't say hello to everybody this morning, but it doesn't mean I didn't see you. You know what? Let me get a little closer and I'll tell you who's here. Shea Butter. Ow. And Wenda. Those two have made themselves known in the chat on YouTube. YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Twitter. Who's on Twitter this morning? OG Bez. Ow. I see you. I see you. Now let's get a little closer to see fan base. I don't even have my glasses on, so I got to get real close. Miss McQueen. Sir Real. KZ. Ray Ray. Oracle Treehouse. Summer Rose. Jessamine. And Michael. Thank you all for being here. Listen, if I didn't say your name on Fanbase, probably because I don't see you. Okay? It's probably because I don't see you. But I appreciate you guys, all of you, for being here on this lovely Tuesday. And I will see you on the morrow. I'll see you on the morrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I sure look forward to it. Yeah, sure do. Go forth into this day and do what now? Persist. Now that you know what persisting is, then, all the time, where your mind's eye at what you want to become and why. Because you want to change your life. Peace out. I can hear popcorn. He's on the stairs with his mommy. I can hear him tooting away. Sounds like a little laser, but you know what? I digress. Peace out, everybody. Peace out.